Mishra, forensic document and fingerprint expert, has worked as an handwriting expert for law firms of England, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, Mauritius, Mumbai, Delhi, UP, and Haryana. Dr. V.C. Mishra is PhD in question documents, forensic science. Besides practicing as an expert in courts, he is also teaching forensic science as associate professor at Amity University, Noida. Dr. V.C. Mishra has delivered lectures, classes, opinions, workshops for BITS Pilani, SBI, PNB, Bar Associations, JATS, Delhi Police, Gujarat Police, DU, Indian Army, Indian Air Force, IIT Delhi, JNU, etc. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. We welcome you, sir. Uh, Now I would request our founder, Mr. Rajendra Pal Singh, to kindly welcome our guest.
Good afternoon, one and all. I welcome our keynote speaker, for this session, Dr. V.C. Mishra, document and handwriting expert. Welcome, sir. Now I want to request Dr. V.C. Mishra to start the session.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is my pleasure that today I am going to tell you something about the forensic question and document examination. Forensic question document is a very, very important field of forensic science. Why? Because lot of financial crimes, lot of money, lot of forgeries are done, and court always want to know that who has written this, who is the person involved in this making forgery, making fake documents, and all. There is no any field, and there is no any office, private or government office or anything where such kind of forgeries or frauds are not being done. It is a very vast field. But most of the time we are working for the lawyer, like in Tizari Court, High Court, Padala House, and there are many courts in Delhi. So since 1988, I am working in this field, and I have got opportunities to work with very, very good multinational companies, government departments, and courts, High Court of Delhi, Mumbai High Court. So today I would like to tell you something about the question document. Handwriting identification is the main part. You can say 80% part is handwriting identification and signature identification. When there is a dispute on any document in the court, some party has denied the signature, then it is required that one expert should come and prove that whether the writing is genuine or not. Then our work starts. Then we go with the permission of the Honorable Court. We examine the document in front of the court, in front of the Ahmad and court clerks, and in front of opposite parties. Then we start working. We inspect the document with the help of the magnifying glass and with the help of other optical instruments, and then we take the photographs. After taking the photographs with the using this scale, we prepare the photographs in our lab. We compare the disputed writing with the specimen writing, and we submit our report. It takes 5 to 10 days, 15 days. Then we submit the opinion to the lawyer, and lawyer submits the opinion in the court. Then we appear for examination in chief, and then cross examination is done. So ultimately, it is up to the court of law to give the verdict. But we are always trying our level best to convince the court that this is the fact, and Your Honor, this signature was found genuine, or this signature was found false, and these are the reasons. There are so many judgments for this handwriting identification. Who is an expert? Expert means a person who has made special study. It is not necessary that you should be PhD, you should be MSc, or you should be this. You have to prove in the court that by expertise, by gaining lot of skills, by study, you are able to submit the report into the court, and you will be facing the cross examination. And every question will be asked to you that where from you got this skill, what is your qualification, and what is your opinion, and what are the reasons of the opinion. Reasons plays very important. Not only the reasons, what expert has written, but I have written in the opinion that I have to demonstrate through the help of the photographs and with all demonstrations of why this is genuine, why this is false, so that the court can see himself whether we have written the scientific opinion or not. So this is our way of working in the courts. Now I would like to tell you what is handwriting. Everybody is learning to write since from the class 1. They follow the pattern which is given by their teacher, like alphabet A, B, C, D, Yaka, Ga, whatever, in any script. So every small child who has who has who is learning the handwriting, how to write, how to read, they follow the pattern of their teachers. Teachers are writing on the board and they are following the same pattern. So you can say that up to the class 5th or 6th or 7th, writing of every class student remains uniform because the impact of the teacher is always there with all the students. The individuality of the handwriting is not there. They are simply writing A, simply writing B, simply writing C. So every student is writing in a similar fashion. So it is very difficult to say okay, who has written this A, who has written this B, because they are adopting the same pattern. Everybody is writing in the same fashion. Once the student or person becomes adult, say in the class 12th, after 12th graduation and post graduation, then automatically, because of the comfort zone of the writing, because of the fancy, or because of the mood, because of the style, a person deviates. He deviates from the pattern which he was taught in the childhood. And may I take your attention? I think I am audible. So when you become uh, graduate or postgraduate, your writing becomes individualistic. Uh, if I use some Hindi word, it is allowed or not?
You can use, but we have international participants also.
Okay, no issue. Then I will only continue in English.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, well. Then what happens? Individuality in the handwriting starts when a writer becomes matured. Then he deviates. Now, what happens? Mr. A adopts a different style of A. Mr. B adopts a different style of A. Mr. C adopts a different third kind of style of A. So every person stamps his own individual habit in formation of the letter. That makes the handwriting identifiable. Now one can say that okay, this kind of A was made by this fellow because he's always making A like this, and this kind of uh, X was written by this fellow because he crosses X like this only. So individuality is the key point by which we identify a particular person. So individual characteristics plays very important role. Now, one very important thing, because forensic science is a very vast subject. There are serology, biology, DNA, ballistics, and many other subjects, anthropology. So they have all these subjects have a fixed pattern. Every time the same principles, same formula, same chemical test is applied. But when you come to the forensic document examination, especially handwriting identification, what happens? Your handwriting is never fixed. In the morning, your handwriting is slightly different, and when you are tired in the evening, because of the tiredness and fatigue, it will be slightly slower or different. So you cannot make your 2 or 3 or 4 signatures exactly alike because your hand is not a rubber stamp. Every time you will write, there will be slight natural variations. Natural variations means sometimes the uh, triangle of A becomes smaller, sometimes it can be bigger, sometimes the loop of B may be smaller, and sometimes slightly bigger, not much, slightly. So these slight variations, which comes automatically into the handwriting, these things are called natural variations. And if natural variation is present in any handwriting, this is the stamp of genuineness. The document is genuine because it is but natural, natural variation will be there. Because if somebody says "Okay, how you have written this signature is smaller, this figure, so you can say nobody can write in a mathematical manner. Natural variations are always there. One cannot avoid these variations. So first formula is every genuine handwriting must be showing natural variations. This is the first formula of signature or handwriting identification. Now I will come to the suspicious document. Suppose somebody has submitted a document having 4 signatures on each 4 pages, and all the signatures are mathematically similar. You can measure it by scale. 3.2 here also, 3.2 on the next page also, 3.2 in the third page also, and 3.2 at the fourth page also. So this scale can give you the first indication of fraud. Very important thing I am telling you, because one cannot write in the exactly mathematical manner. Exact length cannot be found in 4 signatures mathematically because hand is not a rubber stamp. I have already told you. So keeping a scale in the pocket is a very good habit apart from the magnifying glass and other things. So even the lawyer, they can use this scale. They can take measurement of any signature. If they found that these are exactly and mathematically similar, they can immediately raise a doubt because there is something fishy. It is suspicious. How can one person write in the same mathematical length? So these things must be observed prima facie. Now, when you have taken the measurement, you observe that the mathematical similarities are there, then you can take opinion from the expert. Say, I have some doubts. I'll give your opinion on these signatures. They come to us. Then what we do, we keep all the 4 pages and we take a single photograph of all the 4 signatures in a single photograph because we want to bring them on the same enlargement level. And when 4 documents are photographed by us, then we use the scale and point A to B, 3.2, A to B, 3.2, A to B, distances. We demonstrate like this. Another method is also there to prove that signature is not genuine, it is very suspicious. You keep first page signature over the signature of the second page, exactly one over the other, and see into the transmitted light. light will be passing through the document, then you will see it is overlapping like this exactly. Then it is this another evidence to prove it is a companion tracing. So this way, by test of superimposition means exact similarities are there in two signatures. We can establish into the court of law that this is a surest 100% evidence of tracing. And how this was made, we also try to tell to the court or anybody that the forger might have taken one genuine model, and by that one genuine model, he copied two tracing on two papers. So original model was taken on the first page and also on the second page. So when he will trace with the help of pencil or something, same size, same length, same height, and same everything 100% same will be printed on two different papers. So you can say that if by one document, two documents were prepared and both are having the same size. And the same size means absence of natural variation. I told you earlier that the first principle is there must be natural variation like this, slightly here and there. But if it is like this, there is no natural variation, then it is 100% a case of tracing, copying, and this is called traced forgery. So what we can say about the tracing, number one, exact measurements are found. Test of superimposition proves that they are replicas of each other and measurements are similar. And there is no natural variation also. So to prove any signature as false, we have to prove not only one thing, that they are found exactly similar, so it is no. We have to also prove that they are against the principle of natural variation. How a person can make two signatures in a mathematical sameness, it is impossible. And there are court judgments, rulings, and authorities like Mr. Osborne, Mr. Hilton, and so many other writers have written all this. So it becomes easier for us to establish that it is tracing. Now, if it is possible for me to show you one example of this, uh, can it be seen by you, sir? Is it clear?
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. You see the two signatures at the top, black signatures. These two signatures are genuine signatures with slight natural variations also. It is clear, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now I will show you two signatures like these two signatures are exactly similar in respect of height, length, and most of the things. Slight deviations are there in the loop of M. It is because the tracer was afraid of exact duplication, so he made one loop smaller and one slightly bigger. Otherwise, 97-8% part proves that exact sameness. So this is the demonstration of tracing. This exact sameness is not seen in these two. Is it clear, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So this was about the tracing. But tracing is of two types. Number one, direct tracing. Number two, indirect tracing. What is direct tracing? The model was taken, genuine model. It was kept on the glass, light source was given, the shadow lines start appearing, and one directly move the pen over those shadow lines directly. So this is why this is called direct tracing. Second kind of tracing is indirect. What is indirect tracing? While without using the pen first, the model is there, shadow line is there, and you are going to trace it. Then you move the pencil line first, and after that you move the ink line over that pencil line. So since pencil was used in between, so it is not direct tracing, it is indirect tracing. Sometimes what happens, people use some stylus or any pointed thing. They make outlining with the pointed needle, and they then fill it with the ink. So this is also indirect tracing. So tracing, if some expert has written opinion on the tracing, then there must be a question by the opposite lawyer. Okay, Mr. Expert, as per your report, it is tracing. Can you tell us what kind of tracing is that? Then expert must answer. If he has knowledge and he has applied his knowledge properly, he should say that, sir, it was direct tracing. Why it was direct tracing? Because pen was used directly over the shadow line. There is no traces of the pencil, no traces of anything else. That is why. So this is about the tracing what I have told. Now I will tell you about the freehand forgery. You can call this freehand simulated forgery, freehand simulated forgery. The example is I am going to show you. You see, this is the case of freehand forgery. The upper one is genuine signature, and lower one is a copied signature with freehand simulated forgery. The model was kept like this, and it was seen and copied like this. It was not traced. So this is called forgery by freehand simulation. Most of the forgers use this kind of technique because they know the danger of tracing. They avoid tracing because they are aware of one thing. If exact sameness is found, it will be caught. So better to avoid tracing and use this kind of freehand simulation. Now, sir, what you can see here, you see the upper signature that is lighter. Ink is not that much dark, but the lower one, which was copied, will show the darker ink. It was copied, and it is a genuine model. It was copied, and this was the forgery, lower one. So it is darker, it is lighter. What is the reason of this darkness and lightness? There is a reason. When a genuine person writes his signature, he put the pen and goes in a flying way. It takes 3-4 seconds only, not 10-15 seconds, 3-4 seconds. So the touch of pen and paper is very little in seconds like this. So pen is not touching the paper for a longer period of time. So since time used was very little, 2 seconds, so ink was not absorbed by the surface of the paper. So it looks lighter. It is only going in a sliding way. So it is lighter. And why the lower one was darker? Because it was being copied in a slow manner. He has to look at the model. He will make first letter D. Then he will stop here. He will look on the second letter I. He will copy I, N, N, E, E, S, H, one by one. So whenever he will look at the model, he will stop in his work. So this frequent stopping between the signatures is the indication of copying act, because you will stop, you will be slower, then maximum time will be taken by you, and maximum the time, maximum the pen on the paper surface, maximum ink will be absorbed. So it will be looking darker. So have you ever imagined that the timing part also plays very important role? It is not written in the book. It is our practical experience. Timing part. How much time was taken for making this signature, and why this is slow, why this is rapid, and we are science graduate. We know the surface tension and absorption pattern of the ink and all. So this additional knowledge makes us we become capable better. So this was about the freehand simulation. Now, very important thing in tracing or in freehand simulation, both kind of forgery, line quality will be found defective. Now, I am talking about the line quality. Line quality examination is the backbone examination of a signature or writing. Line quality. Line quality means what? Unnatural pen lift, unnatural pen pauses, unnatural pen pauses, tremors, concealed joinings, patching up of strokes. These things are called as line quality defects. Once a person copies the signature, he always tries to improve the work done by him. If some part is left untouched, he will touch it, he will retouch it, he will stop in between, he will again take restart. So this restarting point becomes thicker. So they are very much uh, found in the this freehand simulation also. And line quality defects are maximum in tracing, because in tracing you have to be very slow, because you are following the shadow line, and you cannot dare to go away from the shadow line. So you have to be very slow and cautious, and naturally it will make tremors, slight tremors, hesitations, unnatural pen lift, restart and all. So line quality defects are always found in tracing. Tracing and freehand simulation. So what is useful for the lawyer community here? Suppose you look at the document and some document is suspicious, so you look at the density of the ink. You yourself are signing lot of thousands of documents in the course. You know, inks are found very light inks are there, and at one place you observe very uh, darkness, unnatural darkness in the ink. So what you have to do, you turn the page and see the back surface, you touch it, you can find some indentation because of the more pressure. So initially you can say it is doubtful. Why the ink is so dark? Why there is a indentation on the back side? So these things must be considered by every lawyer also. Now there is a third kind of forgery. That forgery is called forgery by memory. By memory, forger tries to memorize the actual signature of any person. He tries to memorize in the mind, and on the strength of his memory, he sometimes makes the signature. Here, what happens? Sometimes every alphabet is not memorized properly. Suppose there is a big name like uh, Rameshwar. There are 5 or 6 alphabets. So he memorized only 4 letters, but the fifth letter, R, Ra, Hindi, he forgot to how to write it. So he will make that letter in his own way. He will inject his own habit in the 1 or 2 alphabets. So his habit will be injected, then he can be thought that you are the person who has written this signature. So it requires a lot of things. We need sometimes the specimen of the forger, suspected forger. Sometimes we need the specimen of the person whose signature is written on the document. So forgery by memory, forgery by tracing, forgery by freehand simulation. Now, the next kind of forgery is what? Forgery by transplantation. Transplantation means what? By way of photocopying way manner. Somebody has got the signature, photocopy of the signature. He can paste it on some white sheet and he can again get it photocopied. So the composite document looks like one document. So it is the transplantation of actual signature of the person on some other place. Excuse me, on some other. It is called transplantation. Now here we will not get the line quality defects or anything which is found in the forgery because it was not a forgery, it was genuine model. Suppose he used one transplanted signature on first page and again on the second page. He can do one thing, he can reduce the size of the photocopy signature or he can enhance the size of the photocopy signature. It is possible for them. So one signature is reduced copy of the signature and second signature is the bigger copy of that signature. So immediately we cannot judge. We can be confused that it is okay, it is neatly written and it could be a genuine signature, but no. We have to observe if the size and proportions of the alphabets, one, second, third, fourth alphabet is on the same proportion, then it could be a case of forgery by transplantation through the photocopy machine. There is one other method of transplantation nowadays, which is I am getting a lot of cases of that, like computer transfer of the signature, lifting and fixing it away, cut and paste. The very simple method, if the signature has been transplanted by computer and it is shown that it is the original signature, you can see the back surface first. You will get no pressure of the point of the pen. It is impossible that you write with the ball pen, you write with the fountain pen, and there may not be any indentation or pressure pattern. It is impossible. And since if the pressure is not there, you can suspect it could be a computer transplanted. And there is no split of the nib, there is no mark of the ink. And again, if he has used it in slightly bigger size or in smaller size, can be identified like the photocopy signature. Absence of natural variation is indication of forgery. Right, sir? So this was all about kinds of forgery, free and simulated, tracing, forgery by memory, and forgery by transplantation by computer. So there, one more forgery is there, forgery by impersonation, but it is very rarely found. बहुत कम मिलती है. It is not frequently seen. Impersonation means what? It is not copying at all. Suppose one person named as Mr. Ramesh wants to, and he wants to cheat Mr. Dinesh. So he will write Dinesh in his own handwriting. He will not search the model of Dinesh. He will write Dinesh himself in his own handwriting. So this is called impersonation. A person pretends to be another person. And such kind of forgeries are very difficult to prove who has done this unless you have a suspect. Suppose you have a suspect, okay, I doubt one Mr. Suresh, Ramesh, who could be the probable person writing the name of Dinesh. So you call him, and take a specimen from Mr. Dinesh. You have to write Ramesh specimen. So Ma and Shah will be found exactly similar, but it is not found frequently. The most frequent forgery is found is freehand simulated forgery. After that, the traced forgery. Right, sir? Now I will tell you about some principles of the handwriting identification. A poor skilled writer cannot write in a better skill. If your handwriting is poor, you can't write like Shakespeare or anybody because your skills are poor. They are not developed. So poor skilled writer cannot write in a better skill. Suppose you got one threatening letter, any kind of threat, and after some times you are suspecting your servant that he might be the writer. Perhaps he has written this, so you are having some suspicion on that servant. Police will come, police will take a specimen of that servant. But servant is not capable of writing in that fluency. He writes very slowly in a broken alphabet. He is not qualified that much. And the threatening letter shows the writing as it is written by a highly qualified person. So it is not possible. But one thing is there, sir. A highly skilled person can write in a poor skill. It is possible. A highly skilled person can write in a poor skill. And this act is called disguising act. If a highly qualified person is writing some anonymous letter or threatening letter, he will never use his own skill in that letter. He will try to show that as if he is illiterate. He will write in a poor alphabet to hide his identity, right? Now I will come to disguised writing. What is disguised writing? First of all, you must know this. Hello, sir. Are you? It is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what is disguised writing? It is very important. Most of the persons they think that there are only two kind of signature. One is genuine signature, and other is forgery, forged. Two signatures, genuine or forged. But there is a third disputed signature also. What is that third signature? It is called disguised. Disguised. Disguise means deliberately altered signature. Sometimes a person who is not willing to sign any document, but he has a pressure to sign it without his will. So cleverly, what he can do, he will put his signature, but not in his usual style. He will put his signature in a different style, deliberately, so that in future he can deny that I have not signed this. It is not mine. So sometimes to save his skin, he tries to change the signature style and say in future he denies that signature in the court or anywhere. If this is not my signature. But I am telling you, sir, it is almost impossible to prove that it is not his signature. It can be proved. In 95% cases, the signature, which are highly disguised, can also be proved written by him and as a genuine signature. Because disguise is what? You can change one or two features, one, two, three features, and there are eight features. So there are still five features which you cannot change. Cannot change. So somewhere your individual characteristics, which are highly engraved in your mind for a longer period of time, they are bound to come on the paper and cannot be disguised. So disguise is always deliberate. Number one. Number two, if the person has made three or four disguised signature on different occasions, every disguised signature would be inconsistent, not uniform. Always it will be inconsistent. So there is a principle, rule. What is that? Disguise is always deliberate act, number one. Number two, disguise signatures, if more than two or three in number, will be looking inconsistent because he cannot remember how I changed on that date and now how to change today. So one example I will show you about the disguise signature. The upper two signatures, Iqbal, they are genuine signatures. They are looking uniform, consistent, with natural variations. But you see this lower one. Lower one, there are two signatures which are disguised by him on different occasions, but they are inconsistent. And you see, in first signature, he made I in his own handwriting. But in the second signature, he changed the first letter I in a vertical line only. So every time it is not possible to change in a similar fashion. So that creates the inconsistencies in disguise. But the alphabets which are left undisguised, like here I was left undisguised, which was found similar with the I of this, with his genealogy. So this and this is found similar. So we came to know it is the by the same person, both are written by the same person, and the L was deliberately changed but here the L was original. So we will search for the individual habits which he cannot disguise. So how the disguised writings are proved as a genuine? We have to search for the unaltered, undisguised form with the specimen. But the line quality defects would always be perfect in disguise. Line quality defects will not be found in the disguised writing. Line quality defects will always be found defective in freehand forgery and trace forgery. Now, sir, I was talking about the uh, principles of handwriting identification. If poor, that I have already told you, the poor skilled writer cannot write in a better skill, but a better skilled writer can write in a poor skill. It is possible. So we have not to be confused by disguised writing because it is a kind of disguise writing in a poor skill. Sometimes people try to write anonymous letter with the left hand. They think that if I will write with the left hand, then my right hand handwriting will not be found somewhere and I will be safe. It is not so. Even if you write with the left hand, naturally the speed will be slower because the left hand is your unaccustomed hand. It is not accustomed, unaccustomed. You don't use as a routine. So speed will be very slow. And when you write with the accustomed hand, right hand, speed is natural and faster. So speed will be looking different, but the formations of the alphabet, even if written by the left hand, formations of alphabets, the connecting strokes between the two letters, and so many other habits will also be found in left hand writing. So in that case, we need to take specimen from the right hand also, left hand also, and right hand also. If we are suspecting that he is the only person who could have written this. So all these things uh, must be considered by the handwriting experts to get the right person identified. So I told you about the genuine signature, forged signature, and disguised signature. What is the quality of the genuine signature? Suppose one signature is shown to you, there is no dispute. There is nobody has challenged. Somebody says, "Can you tell me if this signature is genuine or not?" Just for your general knowledge, if any signature shows pen jumps, pen jumps means while writing in a speed, pen left the surface and again come on the paper. So it is a jump on the paper. So there will be a gap of the ink. So pen jumps are always taken as evidence of genuine writing. If your signature show spring-like action and pen jumps, then if not as an expert, you can say that must be a genuine signature because pen jumps are there and it is not expected in the forgery. So these are the small tips. Second thing, to protect you from forgery. How you can protect yourself uh, from the forgery, very important tip. Or you can suggest your clients also, if you sign any document, kindly put the date below the signature. It will be safe. So what is the need of the date? Well, I am telling you. Suppose you always put the date below your signature, date, month, and year, and it is your habit in every signature, then you are 40% safe. How? Because forger will try to copy your signature. Here is the model of that thing. He will try to copy your signature by practice or by tracing or by some other method. But he needs a different date. He wants to put a date, but date will be a different date. So what he will do, he will put the date, numerical figure, in his own handwriting habits. Once he has written the dates in his own habit of numericals, then it is now a dangerous thing for him, because it will be proved that this kind of numerical are found in your handwriting habit. You write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will be matching. So thus you can identify the forger if this person is the forger because the date was found in his own habit. So these are some tips. Second important tip is what? Write your signature with a fountain pen. That is the most suitable instrument, writing instrument, to keep the document protected by forgery. Why? Very important reason. These ballpoint pens, they are dangerous because there is a ball, rounded ball. There is no nib. Nib is not there. There is no split of the nib in the ball pen. But in the fountain pen, the nib splits as per the pressure. So sometimes you get the thin stroke, sometimes you get the thick stroke. When you go come downside, stroke becomes thicker, and you go like horizontal, it becomes thinner. So combination of thick and thin strokes is always found in fountain pen writing. That thickness and thinness is called shading, shading of writing habit. A forger cannot copy this habit. Location, the locations of the shading, where is the thick shading, where is the thin shading, cannot be copied by the forger if he is using the fountain pen. It is not possible. Why it is not possible? The answer is difficult, but I am telling you why it is not possible. It is not possible because forger has not seen you while how you are holding the fountain pen. He has no idea. Some people hold the pen like this, some hold the pen like this, some hold the pen like this. The angle of the pen on the surface of paper is found different in most of the writers. And that angle makes the thick and thin strokes differently at different locations. Now the forger is not in a position to know, okay, how I should hold the pen to copy this. It is not possible for it. And this is very important point. People are ignoring the fountain pen, but I should say fountain pens are very, very important instrument and shapes your from the forgery. Now, sir, Acha, I would request all of you, if you have any doubt or any question in between, you can put the question to make the things more clarified. If you think, I would be happy for that.
Participants can write their questions in chat box.
Pardon?
Participants, sir, can write the questions in chat box.
Okay. Now, sir, these were the main features of the question documents, comprising of the handwriting part only. Now I will come to other question documents in which there is no copying act of the signature, no copying of the like tracing of freehand forgery or impersonation of memory. In those documents, sometimes people fraudulently add some figure additions. Suppose there is any amount figure on the check and one person secretly add one more zero after some time and withdraw the money. So this is called addition. It is called fraudulent addition. Zero was written later on and not written by the original writer. And sometimes what happens, people try to alter the numerical figure. Alter means one figure is one, and the one has been changed into four. This is called alteration. It is not addition, alteration. It was actually one, but it was made like four. So it is alteration. Sometimes people move the ink of the pen on some written part and hide the written part, patching. Suppose there is a medical record and the patient's name is written on the register at the time of admission, and patient by some unfortunate reason dies. So hospital people are worried that we should not show that this person was admitted in this hospital, remove his name from the register. So they patch up the name of that fellow by using ink. So this patching up of it is called obliterated handwriting. Obliterated. So now it is not visible, so it cannot be read. So addition, alteration, obliteration, erasing, erase karna. It is called erasing. Something was erased with the help of knife or blade. The ink was removed by using blade or knife. So it was erased. It is called physical erasing, not chemical. It is physical. Sometimes people use chemical to erase something, so that is called chemical erasing. So it can also be proved in the court that this was erased. For that, what we do, we throw light from the back side on that document. Light is passing through the paper, and if something was erased with the blade or something, so the surface of paper become very thick, not thin, very thin, delicate, because paper becomes thin because of the rubbing of the blade. So more light will pass through that part of erasing. We will take photograph, we will prove that this was the area which was erased, and we demonstrate the same in the court. So by using the photography techniques, we demonstrate so many things in the court of law with our opinions and all. There was a case 8 to 10 years back in the court of Kamini Law, madam, at Tishjari. So at civil side, there one uh, lawyer, very famous lawyer, uh, he engaged me. So, Mr. Misra, you have to submit opinion on the ink, whether the ink at two places of the check are similar or not. And our view is that it is different. what happened, I requested him, okay, sir, I have to see the original document, you just told me. So I visited that place and in the court. Then I took my camera and requested the court clerk bring this document outside. I will take photograph because I needed some sunlight. And in the sunlight, I used 5-7 snaps, colored films, and I was able to capture the differences of the ink. Otherwise, people object, "Yeah, how you can give the opinion on the ink if chemical test is not permitted." And I am not examining this by chemical. It is non-destructive test. I am using only optical things like camera and all. If I am able to show to the court that it is different, then what is the problem? So I submitted the opinion. Mr. Mahendru, I think this lawyer, Mr. Mahendru, he sits at X block at PCRE Court. Maybe you know him, Mahendru sir. There was a case given by me by Mr. I.S. Saroha Sahab. Saroha Sahab, I think, is known to most of the lawyers in Delhi. It is, I'm talking about, it was a case done by me in 2003 or 4. So he gave me one laminated document, laminated will. And he said, Mr. Misra, you have to examine this and submit a report. And in my view, it is a forged will. It was a one-page laminated will. Saroha Sahab, I.S. Saroha. But okay, sir, I do that. I went into the court to take the photograph. I examined the document in the sunlight while using torch and so many things. Because it was laminated, I wanted to see in the maximum light. So I took the photograph of the signature and whole of the will and took the specimen signature. One thing I noticed, which I kept in my mind only. I did not tell this thing to anybody because that was my very strong point, which I thought I will use at the time of evidence. Why to disclose right now? So I submitted the report. It is 100% a forged will. Mr. Saroha Sahab is still there. You can discuss this thing. Misra ji was saying like this. Saroha Sahab said, Mr. Misra, opposite side lawyers are very, very strong. You please be ready for very, very strong cross examination. No, they are about he's shouting like anything in the cross examination. Manega Saroha Sahab, you have given me a case. Please have faith in me. Don't worry at all. I will do. A time of evidence came, I entered into the court for cross examination. Oh, he was right. They started crying. Who are you? How can you say that you are an expert? What is your qualification? If genuine will and you say it is a force, it is actually a force, it is not genuine. Well, but in this report, where you have written that the regions and all those things, simply by saying that it is force, then you started writing all the symptoms of the forgery. No. No, sir. I have submitted a very correct and scientific opinion. Now, Mr. Mishra, he was in a mood to do a very brutal cross examination. The point came, the point came, tell me what you have examined. Tell to the court. I will cross examine you five times. Okay, sir. Very good. I took that original will from the file. It was in the file itself. So Rawat Saab was also there with me. I requested to the court, it was on the ground floor of PCRE. Your Honor, I want to show you something. Like, what you want to show me? Malaka, sir, I told, I had that point earlier with me, but I said, sir, suddenly I have seen. What? Well, I have torch in my pocket. Kindly see this part. I showed that thing to the Honorable Court. There was a clear evidence of indentation of a signature at the this place of the paper, middle place. The actual disputed signature was here, but there was some indentations of the signature here also while using some pointed thing, and that can was very much clear when if you see in the oblique light or the torch. Monica, Your Honor, actually the forger had made two signatures on this while using some pointed thing with the original, but the content of the will was longer, so the lower signature was used. But it is still there in the middle of it. It is the evidence of tracing, and that is why this was laminated, so that nobody can judge it, see it. So that time was different. Now the time is slightly different. I used to come to PCRE since 1979. I am lawyer also, registered lawyer, but practicing as a forensic expert. So there are some other aspects of the forensic document like examination of addition, examination of alteration, examination of obliteration, examination of erasing, physical erasing, chemical erasing, folds. If the document shows unnatural folding, see, the natural folding is what you fold this document equally like this. So this fold will be a natural fold. But if I observe a fold here also, two folds, then it becomes a suspicious thing. It is not natural. It means that the document was torn from this side and was made smaller, and then this again folded like this. So this is not a natural document, something is doubtful, and this is a evidence which is taken as suspicious circumstance. Now other evidences are also required. So such kind of examination sometimes called as this comprehensive document examination. Comprehensive document examination means the examination of folds, examination of the corner, examinations of the stapler pin marks, examination of the alpin marks, any brown part, any microbacterial effect on the paper, any mark of thumb impression with the ink, whatever. So there are lot of other things which we need to see into the report. Then we explain, sir, this document needs a comprehensive document examination. Sometimes artificial aging by using electric press. The document was kept into the tea concoction. It was a white document, now artificially made as a brown document in the tea concoction. And again, it was pressed with the iron and was solvently shown as the old document belonging to 50 years back. But you cut the part of the corner of the document, you see the white paper is still there. But it is not allowed in the court. So we demonstrate our doubts and possible suspicions in the court, Your Honor. You see, it is not uniformly brown. Some places it is darker brown, some places lighter brown. It could be manufactured document in the tea concoction. And there are the evidences of the iron press. Well, how can you say? Because you see this document in sunlight, it will reflect like a mirror, shining like a mirror. Oh, so sometimes such kind of circumstances are there, and we people give our opinion. So now I think if any question or any specific thing, specific thing you want to know, you can suggest any specific part of the question document subject or any practice how to cross-examine the handwriting expert or forensic document expert. I am telling you. Sir, you must be doing the cross-examination of the experts from the government experts, private experts, independent experts. So what is important for you? The most important thing is you ask for the photographs taken by the expert. Most of the time when I entered into the court to cross-examine the government experts, and then I came to know that the photographs were not supplied in the court file. So I requested to my counsel who made me, sir, without photograph, how it will be possible for me to cross-examine unless I see the enlarged version of the signature examined by them? How can I? Then they said, no, it is not required. We people only submit the written part. Manika sir, but in the Western book, in so many books written by world level authorities, there are judgments also. If photographs are necessary, they are important part of the opinion. How the expert will cross-examine and how the honorable court would see what you have done. So they were given a date. The next time, please submit the photograph. So without photographs, the cross-examination should not be done because it will be incomplete. Whatever they have written, one cannot confirm without going on the photograph. It's very important. Second thing is, ask them to give the reasonings in detail. Suppose he has written that it is a forgery. Then you can ask him what kind of forgery. You must have given the specific name of the forgery. It could be freehand or tracing or impersonation or memory or transplantation. Then he will be confused. So yeah, actually this is a freehand forgery. He will answer like this. Okay, then what is the difference between the freehand forgery and tracing? Where you have mentioned the defects of the line quality in the freehand forgery? No, sir. Line quality defects were not found. He can say like this. If he has not mentioned this thing, it means he will say line quality defects were not found. Then you again put a question. Without line quality defect, one cannot say it is forgery. It means it is a genuine signature. So such kind of questions will be useful in my view. Otherwise, you people are more knowledgeable than me.
Sir, there is a question in freehand. In freehand, one he can practice many times and then do a sign on document then how will he be caught?
Okay, very, very nice question. In fact, there are such persons who are who practice a lot and then copy the signature with the minimum defects. The defects which are found in most of the cases are not found in that number in cases where a forger practices a lot and copy the signature after long practice, right? At, at this point, what happens, whatever written in the books, the line quality defects must be found. It is written in the book. But having a long experience, what my answer will be, a forger can practice nicely and in, almost in a perfection. After a long practice, the signature is looking like a genuine signature. Agreed. The line quality defects are not visible. What is the point then? How I can prove this as a forgery? There is a point. There is a way out. What is that way out? If there are more than one signature, then it is very good. You compare both with the disputed and admitted. A forger can copy each and everything. Agreed. But he cannot copy the size and proportions of the letters. It is impossible for him. Size and proportions means what? I must explain. Size and proportions means, suppose these are these two letters, S and H. H is much taller, S is shorter. So he will practice and he can copy this in the same speed, but the height of H is different. So how the height of first, second, third, fourth, fifth letter alphabet is making a graph. The forger is not capable of following that. That graph can only be made by the original writer. So we prove that though it is a very practiced forgery, perfect forgery, but forger failed in understanding the hidden mannerism of the size and proportions of the letters, which is consistently found in 5 specimens, but which is not at all found in the disputed. So these things comes after a long experience. But this question, if you put to anybody or quite a new expert, he would be in difficulty. So sometimes when there is a requirement of a hammer, then hammer is useful. But sometimes, there is no single treatment for everything.
Second question from Lakshay. Sir, can you explain transplantation by computer?
Yes, though I have spoken something, but again I am telling what is computer transplantation, right?
Yes, sir.
Lifting one genuine model signature from any place, one can lift the genuine signature and it can be pasted to some other fraudulent paper to use in the post document for courts for illegal gain. So lifting a genuine signature and putting it on the white sheet, fixing it on the white sheet, it is called transplantation. It was only the place is transferred, but the signature is genuine. So that case would not show the line quality defects. Signature is genuine, so it will be again looking genuine on that document. But what we opine in such cases, The signature is transplanted and showing all the evidence of genuineness. But the document which was shown to have this signature is a fraudulent document. It was lifted and pasted on this document. So signature is genuine, but it was not originally done here. So this document has become a fraudulent document. So
Sir,
sometimes signature could be a genuine thing, but the document cannot be.
definitely. Sir, there is a question from Ritham Chatterjee. Can we identify gender through handwriting?
So many persons have done some work on this, but 100% accurate research is still not done. What they have written in their books, if the writing is showing flourishes, flower kind of rubrics, ornamentation, bigger strokes, then probably it was written by a female. And when the writing is lacking these kind of ornamentation and all beautiful rubrics and this ornamentation kind of thing, then probably it will belong to the male. So it is, not perfect finding. They are still doing some work on this. It is not possible. In my view, it is very, very difficult.
And can we identify from the handwriting whether it is written with right hand or left hand?
Yes, it is a very important question and very interesting question for me also. See, writing is always written on the white sheet, white paper using pen, right? And when you write, the paper is kept in front of you, right? When you write with the right hand, your line of writing goes away from your body. The pen is quite near. You start from the quite near to the body, and pen goes away from your body. But when you write with the left hand, you start writing from the distance, and pen comes near to your body. So, in 80 to 90% cases, we can give a possible opinion, highly probable opinion, that it could be from the left hand because the line of writing was coming to the near to the body of the writer, and when you write with the left hand, it goes away from the writer. And if the left hand person writes and he is not habitual in writing with the left, the size of the letter will be bigger, the speed will be slower. But if his left hand is accustomed hand, he is feeling comfort with his left hand, so his right hand would be showing uncomfort. Vice versa.
Sir, there is a question from Ashish. Can you explain again tracing types?
Tracing types. There are two kinds of tracings. One is direct tracing, second is indirect tracing. Clear? What is direct tracing? I have already told. A person is directly copying while using the pen. Finally, that is called direct tracing. And what is indirect? They are of three kinds. Pen is not directly used, but the pointed thing is used first, or pencil is used the second, or a carbon impression copy was made first, and the carbon outlining was filled with the ink. That is the third kind of indirect tracing. And sometimes you make indentation on the white sheet while moving the pen on the genuine model, and that indentation which has come, you can fill the ink in that also. So 3 or 4 kinds of indirect tracing and 1 kind of direct tracing.
Sir, is there any special kit for identify handwriting?
No, sir, there is no ready-made kit. There is no such kit. And even the still computers are not capable of matching the handwriting because every time your handwriting is slightly different because of the
Yeah.
variable factor. You are sick, then writing will be slightly poor, and you are healthy, writing will be better. So computer can take one kid forever, but meanwhile you are sick, you are ill, you are weak. Computer will not consider that thing. So it is not. It is still possible with the manual as we are doing.
What is the difference between document examination and handwriting analysis?
Document examination and handwriting analysis.
Yes, sir.
See, document examination, most of the documents they include the handwriting. Sometimes there is a dispute whether the signature part is genuine or not. And sometimes there is a dispute the whole of the document is genuine or not. For that, we conduct the comprehensive document examination. Sometimes we are not required to examine document completely. We are required to examine the signature part only. But both things are, you can say both are the same thing. Document examination, signature is naturally will be on the document. So both are the same thing, but you can demarcate like okay, when the whole part is required, it is document examination, comprehensive document examination. The signature is required, so that specific part is only required. So handwriting or signature, signature is also included in the handwriting examination. Though signature is more individualistic, having more individual habits, but both comes in the handwriting identification. Document examination, you can say that you need to examine the age of the document, no written part, age of the paper, fold on the paper, any mark of the pin, any artificial aging evidence, any microbacterial effect. So that is the paper examination, you can say document examination, not an examination of the writing.
Sir, Advocate Shubham is asking if I make two signatures of mine.
Yes,
So is there any possibility of variation between the two?
100% they will be showing natural variations, 100%. If you are making two signatures, then two signatures will be showing natural variations. Sometimes little natural variation, sometimes little more, but cannot be mathematically similar.
Sir, there is a question from Shilpa Sanjeevan. How to estimate the time at which an information was added from the contact of ink of the pen and the paper?
Say again, please. I again repeat it, please.
Uh, how to estimate the time at which an information was added from the contact of ink of the pen and paper?
Estimation of the time you are
Yes,
asking.
sir. Yes, sir. Estimate the time at which information was added from contact of ink of the
No,
pen and paper.
see,
Both.
if the question is regarding the estimation of time, so it is a question of aging of the writing, time of the writing. It is not possible. It is not possible to tell the exact age of the writing on the paper. It is not possible because writing may be looking fresh if the paper is kept into the polythene bag, and it will be looking old in 15 days if it is left open to the surface of the table. So because of the condition of the atmosphere and moisture and heat and all, the fading of the ink takes place, document looks older or fresher. So it is not possible to tell the exact age of the ink or document. Not possible.
Sir, there is a question from Vandana Eka. if a person put pressure while writing the signature with the fountain pen due injury, will it be considered forged?
Achha, suppose your question is if the hand is injured
Yeah.
and
If
person is
pressure,
writing injured,
if a person has put pressure to issue to write while writing the signatures with the fountain pen due to injury, will
due
it
to
be
injury,
considered forged?
achha, there could be some deformity in the hand, and because of that deformity, there could be more pressure of the fountain pen nib on the paper. You are telling this thing
Yes, sir.
because of the injury.
Yes, sir.
See, but there will be not much difference. It depends on the gravity of the injury. If the injury is serious, so maybe that he is not in a position to hold the pen properly, so angles of the pen hold will be changed, pressure would be slightly different. So it depends on the when the problem is in my, I see the problem only then. So in some cases it is not possible, in some cases it is possible.
Sir,
I have
there,
not seen documents, so right now I cannot speak the exact thing, what was the circumstance.
this is practical. We have to see the practical.
See, but if there is a pressure pattern because of the injury and there is no evidence of the line quality defect, then we can say that the signature is genuine. Line quality defects and concealed joining and retouching and pen pauses or unnatural pen dips are not there. And it was also told me that like at the time of writing, the person was injured. This circumstance has to be brought, has to be written in the application. That this specimen was taken or this document was executed when the person was injured because of this. So then we can only consider, because we cannot guess whether it is from the injury or not unless we are told about this. Then we can consider this.
In this case, we can take the thumb impression also. In this case, we can take the thumb
See,
impression also.
thumb impression is such a perfect science, such a perfect science. If there are two opinions, one on the thumb impression and second on the writing, so writing becomes a secondary thing, useless. Thumb impression is found identical, document is 100% sure. So, if such kind of precaution must be taken. Okay, if a document is important and you want to get it signed, try to take the thumb impression also.
Sir, can you please discuss any landmark case regarding documentation analysis, document verification?
Sir, actually, you are talking about landmark case. I have done submitted thousands of opinion in 32 years. Uh, Immediately, I cannot say, but I can give you some examples. There was a case. Uh, there were two parties, Pawan Sachdeva and Mr. Gautam Adani. It was a case in 2001. Gautam Adani Saab is a big man now. At that time, I don't think he was that much popular. So Pawan Sachdeva belongs to Delhi. So he came to me uh, with some agreements, and all were the photocopies. So he came to me, Mr. Mishra, there are 8 agreements submitted by Mr. Gautam Adani. And I am surprised that all the signatures are mine.
Okay.
But I have never signed this agreement. Transplantation matter. So I thought, what are you saying? I thought the person is not speaking truth. But but I was surprised to see the 11 agreements. MS Shoes Company, still I remember the name of that stamp which was there, MS Shoes. These people were exporting shoes to other foreign countries. all the signatures were exactly the same on each paper. One agreement belonging to date 1985, second agreement 1987, third is 1988, fourth is 1989. There is a gap of time in every agreement, but the signature is exactly the same on all. And not only the signature, rubber stamp is also showing the same distances from the signatures. Then I submitted my opinion, but there were three agreements where situation was not like this. Signature was found different in the last three agreements. Then what happens, sir? This is very surprising case. I am telling you, very. In three agreements, the person copied the photocopied signature in half part, not full. First three letters were copied from the model, and fourth, fifth, sixth alphabet was cut and was pasted. Half signature was pasted, and the tail part of the signature was made by him with the pen on the white sheet, and then it was photocopied. See the height of his level of thinking. Half photocopied signature was pasted. Half part was made by him because there were three circles only. So he made circles so that it can look different from the other. So when I solved that case, he was very happy. And in TCRE court, it was a complaint case. He produced me, and one Gupta advocate is there at TCRE. He produced me in the court, Kumar Saab court. So my statement was recorded, and you can see the Hindustan Times newspaper of 2001 or 2. Gautam Adani was arrested at Rajouri Garden, and Mr. Pawan Sachdeva is still in Delhi. So that case was really. And one case I submitted opinion for Bablu Srivastava Saab. You know Bablu Srivastava ji?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, बबलू श्रीवास्तव, ओम प्रकाश श्रीवास्तव उस बबलू, बहुत बड़ी हस्ती है, भाई है बॉम्ब से.
Sir, this is one question, that if the person has been murdered, but to show its suicidal case with a note, how do you identify that the note which is written by him is actually forcefully written, or by him willfully written?
See, when there is a point of forensic document, I would need the specimen handwriting of the deceased. I would ask for some diaries written by him or something. I will compare first with this writing of the suicide note. If it is found matching with the writing of the deceased, then I will prove it is written by him. And if it is found different, I will say it is not written by him. But when question is that, okay, he has written actually, but whether written under normal circumstances or written under some pressure. So this thing is not easy to prove. It is not easy to prove. It is not. Writing is his. But the circumstances, whether he was in a fear or he was in a other condition, it is not possible. But certainly if the writing is broken at some places or tremors are there, then we can say his writing was not his that much natural because of the situation of that time. Sometimes there is an effect of haste, sometimes there is an effect of liquor, sometimes there is an effect of any medication, sometimes there is an effect of any pressure. So writing will be affected. But still, a forensic document expert would also like to compare the handwriting with the specimen handwriting of the deceased. We need the handwriting of the person. We will compare also. And when it is found similar, then we will say, no doubt the handwriting was his, it is proved. But there are slight variations, some tremor, some hesitations that could be due to the some other mental conditions unknown to me. Unknown. Well, I cannot say something about that additional impact of the natural variations. But okay, if it is found similar with the specimen, I will say it is written by the same.
But we have to find out his writing. We
Yes,
have to get his writing, and that we can identify that this is genuine or not.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
We are
Sir,
supposed to only do that.
yeah.
And what we are talking about is the part of psychological analysis.
Sir, this is one is my personal question.
Yes, sir.
That, if a person has written signed a document, suppose she has signed a will and agreement like that, and she is dead now.
Yes.
She's no more. So
Okay.
somebody claimed that this is the forged signatures, and the other parties say ki this is the genuine signature. How can we identify that this signature is genuine signature? Because her signatures are not in the bank are different, smaller, different. That was a lady of above 72 years old. So how can we identify that signatures?
And is there any writing part or thumb impression part also or not?
There is writing part.
Then we would need if the writing can also be provided to us to make two opinions, one on the signature and second on the handwriting. Otherwise, if the specimen of that lady
Hmm,
who was so much old
hmm,
and specimens are not available for comparison,
hmm.
then it would be difficult to prove it. How one can compare with it because it is a comparison job for us. We need the specimen. But
But
one
because
thing I am telling you, if nothing is there, then the intrinsic examination, the examination of a document itself can help to some extent, but that is not admissible in the law. If it is challenged, it will be not utilized. Because signature speaks itself also whether I am not I am genuine or I am forged. Because
because
the maybe the person is old, but sometimes the writing rhythm, if it is found rhythmic and in a flying manner, then chances of forgery are very much reduced. It will be
because
kept into the genuine group.
because these signatures had gone to FSL, and they can't identify the signatures. The bank signatures are different, and the on document signatures are different. So every time the FSL person came and said, It is some like this difference, this difference." They cannot identify the signature.
FSL people must be writing कि no sufficient comparatives are available
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and we need the contemporary specimen signature.
Definitely. This is all they have written.
हाँ वही लिखते हैं. They are only writing this.
Yeah.
But the relative of that lady may search for some of the specimen writing if found somewhere in different bank or in any office or in the registrar office, and if there is a letter written by her. So it is a matter of investigation also. Family persons can try to search.
Definitely, they can't find now signatures in a bank also. Uh, Totally, both
And,
signatures
and,
are different.
and bank people are also not caring for the taking repeated specimen.
Yeah.
Once a person becomes older, they should call that person can kindly give you a fresh specimen. When you were of the age of 40, your signature is now changed. Now you are 56. After 16 years, you give your fresh specimen because the signature is showing some differences due to the age. So bank people must also do this.
Sir, is there any method to measure genuine of digital signatures?
No, sir.
No.
Digital signature is quite a new thing for me. We are only
They
doing
are, they are
handwritten.
not applicable in banks now.
No, sir. I don't know much about that, but I don't think it is used in the bank. Digital signature, I think it is for the big transactions in the big companies internationally. But don't know much about that,
Okay.
frankly.
Sir, you showed us the image of disguised signature. Under the image, it was written that besides this, many more characteristics are required to form the report. Can
See,
you
it is
tell
only,
us the characteristic required in forming the report?
suppose this photograph was used to tell you basic things. So these are the basic. The additional things are also required. Like suppose we write any opinion, so we take the disputed signature and specimen both. Then we compare the class characteristics. What are the class characteristics? Like movement, like line quality, speed, skill, size and proportions of letter, spacing between the letters, and uh, uh, relative position of the letter, and variation, how much variations are there. Then we come to individual characteristics, letter to letter. So suppose there are five alphabets, I, Q, B, A, L. So I will compare I with this I, Q with this Q, B with this. So all the alphabets are compared in a sequence. So this is called individual characteristics. So class characteristics, then individual, then we also give the regions. Okay, why I say it is similar. Suppose this eye is found similar, so we will say the initial formation of this upper apex of the eye and the extended part of the eye downward is found similar. So we write like this. And when there is a disguise here, this is vertical L and this is a loop L. So we will have to give, okay, this L was made with the intention to change, but we say it is written by him because of the similarities of this I. It is giving weight to us. So we can relate that this is written by this person, but this was deliberately changed. So all these reasonings, one opinion requires 6, 7, 8 pages of type writing. So it is only one page. So suppose I say opinions are written like this, everybody will copy this and will paste it and submit the report. It is of no use. I must write this note. It is not complete. It requires so many other things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for such an amazing session. Sir, it is very knowledgeable session. We are glad to have you here, and we think that whenever we call you, you will be available for La Joint again and again. Thank you, sir.
Always, thank you very much.